Monaco Pizza presents STP. The Steve Dangle Podcast with your hosts, Steve Dangle and Adam Wylde.
This is the LFR, Adam.
Wow.
This is the LFR video.
This is how it happens. This is my first one.
Oh my goodness. It's a special edition Steve Dangle Podcast and LFR video.
Wow.
Because stuff.
There's so much pressure.
So much. Wait, we got to do the traditional Leafs win. Whoa, microphone.
That's right. Yeah.
Leafs win 3-2 over the Philadelphia
saw
Flyers.
none of the game, so you're going to have to break that down for me.
Who cares? The season's done.
Okay.
But what really
Yeah.
what really matters, David Clarkson.
Yeah, well, and the thing that the way I wanted to if we had just done a podcast, I would have started out right out of the intro and said, have we reached 2020 so quickly? Is it 2020?
Yeah, MLSC's got to change his Twitter name now. He's got to change his handle.
We are in the post-Clarkson era right now. Like, right now.
We're living it. We're living the future.
And
this is so weird. Where's my jetpack? Where are all the flying cars?
Yeah, where is my skateboard that hover Marty McFly? Like, where is that? But but seriously, this is like,
where's Christopher Lloyd?
This is crazy news.
I can't believe they pulled it off, and yet it makes perfect sense. It's actually a pretty logical trade on both sides, I think.
So let's get to it right now. David Clarkson and his $5.25 million until 2020 traded for Nathan Horton, who I believe has 5 more years left.
Very similar. Here, let me look
it up. Where is
Let me play the role of Jesse.
Who, by the way, we got to call a little later in the show. You know,
in the show.
And this is the thing: is that it's such a it makes so much sense, this deal, and yet nobody thought of it. Nobody was like, hey, this is like nobody who speculated ever would have put 2 and 2 together on this one.
I remember we talked about Nathan Horton and his terrible health situation on the show, and we probably talked about David Clarkson later that very show.
Yeah,
and it just never clicked.
No,
never even thought of it.
Well, and yeah, it's the strangest thing. So what do we got here for Nathan Horton?
Okay, Nathan Horton, he's on the books until 18-19.
Okay, so the year before.
Interesting.
Amazing. Okay. Now, for anybody asking, Nathan Horton probably will not play another game for the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Yeah. Clarkson's also 18-19.
Nathan Horton, the way his back's going, from what I've heard, may not even play a game of shinny.
If he gets on skates again, I think that'd be pretty awesome. It sounds like a Mark Savard situation, except different area.
Well, and I don't know. I didn't get a chance to read much up on spinal fusion, but that's what he was looking at.
It sounds. Well, when it sounds like a Dragon Ball Z move.
Yeah, when you think
it's applied to your body.
Spinal fusion together.
Not good.
Not good. No.
So are we cheating to the camera?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I thought we might want to acknowledge that there's other people here.
This is a special thing. Hello, other people.
I didn't know what to say. I mean, this is your thing. So I'm letting you take the lead on that.
That's right. This is the first Steve Dangle podcast with props. We can.
Wow.
Today I am a Columbus Blue Jackets fan.
Now, if you are downloading this podcast, which it is possible to do,
that's right.
This makes absolutely no sense.
Whatever. They already got a podcast earlier today. Shut up. No one gives a shit. No, I'm swearing in this LFR too.
Yeah.
Explicit tag.
There's
shit.
For someone who's so great with words, I'm disappointed in you and swearing.
You're right.
If you listened to the last episode, you would have got that.
Yeah, if you're one of the 50 people, friggin' the one time we record Tuesday mornings and Thursday nights. We record one Thursday morning. David Clarkman.
Yeah. Well, and that was the thing. So I want to break down, because this is the important. Yeah.
Okay.
I want to break it down. Where were you? And I want to see some tweets on this. Where were you when you found out that David Clarkson had been traded? And now this is going to seem really cheap, because this is a human being we're talking about. This is a person who is a good person, a good member of the locker room from all accounts, a great member of the community. And I just want to say right off the top, because we're Canadian, we've defended him 100 times. His character was never an issue. This is a good human being.
Good.
And who should have worked. And it's too bad that it didn't.
No.
But where were you when you found out that David Clarkson was no longer a Toronto Maple Leaf? What were you doing? What happened? Run it down.
I was at the gym on the elliptical, like a weightlifter.
Yeah.
And probably like 20% left on my phone. And I just, It started with a producer friend of mine just texted me. He goes, apparently miracles do happen. And I just go, what? What the hell happened? And then my Twitter mentions were just all caps, Clarkman, David Clarkman! Ah! Like, oh my God! Just utter chaos. And then I was just aimlessly going around the gym pretending to work out, basically.
Yeah.
I did a few chesty things, and that's about it.
Because I was messaging Steve on Facebook Messenger, like, we got to do something.
Steve, we got to come to your house.
Yeah.
We got to do a podcast. Okay, my phone's off today. Okay, I'll see you then. Bye. Oh, my God.
That's exactly how it all went. It was all in caps.
When was the last time you were this excited to do a show?
Oh, well, you know what? It's been... You've said this with the LFRs lately. It's not been hard to do the show. The show's fun.
The podcast is easier.
Yeah, the podcast is a lot of fun too. But the problem with it is that talking about the Leafs has been just terrible.
Well, you see they're bad.
Yeah.
Hey, 2 in a row. 2 in a row. That's pretty good.
2 in a row.
That's
not so Tank Nation now, are we?
Yeah, but like we've never. I can't think of the last time. What?
The Tank Nation helmet is just over there.
You're right.
You should put that on. We can put that on. Hey, there you go. Kiprios is rolling over in his bed right now going, I hate that guy.
When you said rolling over in his, I'm like, wait.
No, not dead. No.
No. I might be. I might be.
Could be. Yeah.
Could be. What were we just talking about? Oh, yeah. What was the last time we raced to each other's houses to do a podcast? The Carlisle thing we found out right as we were about to start recording.
Right. Well, and that's why I bring up...
that's different.
That's why I bring up this whole, where were you when you found out about the trade? Because here's how it happened for me.
I know where you were, yeah.
It was an intense moment of... There's 3 moments,
blowing off your actual job.
Yeah.
Like,
well,
let's just be honest.
No, honestly, it was right. It did not blow off my job, but there was 3 intense moments. Intense moment of disbelief, number 1. And I will tell this entire story.
Did you think it was a fake...
100%.
fake
I thought it was one of those feed news things that shows up on Facebook.
BuzzFeed.
That people, like, I throw them up on my Facebook every once in a while, like, Phil Kessel traded an 8-player deal, and people are like, no way, I knew this would happen, and then share.
Top 4 Leaf trades this week.
Yeah.
You won't believe number 4.
Number 2.
Spencer Rabbit.
Intense moment of excitement.
Okay.
Number 3. Intense moment of, oh, God. Damn it.
What? Why is that?
I'll get to that in a second. So here's what happened.
You see with the teams.
Here's what happened.
Now you get to see it.
Well, now you got to wait. Now we got to keep people listening and watching longer, right?
Now you got to not turn.
So here's what happened, and I swear to God, Jesse walks in. We're on the Blake and Wylde show. We're in the middle of a topic. We're talking about. And see, this is how I know I was paying attention because I can remember. We were talking about whether it's a good idea to tell your wife or girlfriend whether she looks good or not. So if she looks terrible, is it a good idea to tell her?
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay there, Kobe.
So we were having that conversation.
With the something in your teeth analogy from Jimmy Kimmel? Did you see
I missed that one.
Well, never mind.
Okay, that's great. We'll link to that, I'm sure, in the bottom somewhere. Maybe not. So anyway, what happened was Jesse walks in and he's like, just so you know, Clarkson's gone. And I was like... You're full of shit. Can I say that on the LFR?
You bet your balls.
Okay, good. And he's like, you don't believe me, do you? And I'm like, no, I don't believe you. I'm sorry. I think it's one of those feed news things. And he's like, and he kind of looks at me like, okay, guy who doesn't do any research on the show.
Yeah,
sure. I'm wrong. I'm sure. So he lets me go and Google it. And at the same time, I'm looking at my Twitter mentions. And as soon as I looked at my Twitter after he says this, I see 3 tweets from 3 podcast listeners going, oh my God, at Adam Wylde, that's Steve Dangle. Wow, at Adam Wylde, that's Steve Dangle. Or Steve Dangle, Adam Wylde, doesn't really matter. Whatever. And then I'm thinking, so this could be real. So what did they get? What happens? What comes back, right? Because if David Clarkson's gone, there's a good chance there's like a Mike Richards coming the other way, right?
I was like, a first-round pick! my dumb Leaf brain just goes, like real quick.
Yeah.
I got to go.
Yeah,
no.
Well, you got to think like... Of course, you want to think the best, right? But I thought, because I'm a Leaf fan, instantly I'm going, oh God, this could be the worst. So then it's Nathan Horton, and I'm like, this deal is perfect. This is a perfect trade. This is
logical.
It's completely logical, which is that is the definition of a trade. That's what a trade should be. Logical. It should work for both sides.
Does that count as a hockey move?
I think this is the hockeyiest of moves.
Wow.
This is a business hockey move.
So you know that's a business move.
But the thing is, they say hockey moves are moves that benefit both sides for the future, right? That makes sense financially, that makes sense on the ice. What is this deal?
There you go, splitting hairs. I like it.
Okay.
Dude, it's just beautiful.
So then, intense moment. Here's the intense moment of disappointment, and oh my God. It's the, guys, so glad to hear, this is the tweet that came in, so glad to know that you guys have not recorded a podcast yet. Damn it. Ah! And that was the thing. We just recorded it, and it was like, anyway, so I'm here. I went to my dad's retirement dinner. It is 10:45 at night.
Did they stop it in the middle of it? Can I have everyone's attention? Sorry, listen. We'd like to appreciate this great man's work. He really has. He's just beaten the odds, and he's really impressed us all.
40 years of a solid career.
Yeah. Brendan Shanahan, everybody. Brendan Shanahan.
Toast to Brendan.
Hey, bring him out.
To Brendy Shanahan.
I'm not retiring. I don't know. I'm really busy actually right now.
Need to get out of here. Trade deadline's coming up.
Kyle, can you drive me somewhere? Yeah, I bet he makes Kyle drive him places.
Yeah. I think Kyle needs to pay his dues.
Look at me talk about Kyle.
Yeah, Kyle, Brendan.
I haven't spoken to. Anyway,
so we messaged back and forth, and we did make this happen because it was like we either do this tonight or tomorrow morning, or we miss the opportunity. So we needed to do it.
And so here we are. Birthday.
It is your dad's birthday. So happy birthday.
Our dads are screwing this up.
I know.
You want me to be a big success, Dad, or not? Thanks.
Actually, it was funny. My dad was
happy birthday. I didn't say happy birthday on the podcast, but now it's technically his birthday, so I'm saying happy birthday on your birthday. You shut your face. I love you. Don't hurt me.
Happy birthday, Gary. I love you more than he does.
That's not true.
It's my
dad.
What your sense of this trade, just from a creative standpoint? Because this is, David Clarkson's contract may have been the worst in NHL history, and it may have been featured on Bleacher Report and Barstool and Bar Down and wherever.
A lot of bars.
This is probably one of the most creative trades we've ever seen, right? Like, I mean, can you name a team? And maybe leave your comment in the comment bar.
Oh no!
Hang on. We'll edit this.
Son of a bastard. Well, now I got to edit it.
Okay.
I told you, these SD cards are unreliable.
Okay, well,
whatever.
These SD cards ain't loyal.
There will be a little gap.
Okay, that's fine.
SD cards ain't loyal.
Well, yeah, that's what I said. Whitest white guy right here. Anyway, I don't know. What was I've lost it.
I don't know.
I've lost
You're saying something about SD cards.
No, I walked into my dad's retirement dinner.
Yeah.
And they said, "Well, how are you doing?" I said, "Good. I have to go back to work tonight." They're like, "What? Really? Why?" And I said, "Well, David Clarkson
referred to this as work.
David Clarkson got traded," and they're like, "Well, it's another gerb."
It's a gerb.
And they were like, "Oh, well, yeah, you gotta. What time do you need to be out of here?" I was like, "Thank you, family. You rule."
That's right.
So anyway, let's talk about the actual deal. Creativity.
Yes.
This is a creative contract. That's where we were before the camera stopped recording. Has there been, in your memory, a more creative trade ever made?
Jeez, there's,
especially in the cap era.
It's very interesting. I'm sure there are some, and we're gonna get people yelling at us.
I hope so. I hope we do.
I'm trying to think of a contract for contract deal. I mean, when was the last time a player who will never play again was traded? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
or likely won't be traded.
It's like moving Chris Pronger. And that was that was the thing that I thought of. I was like, do you think, what are the chances the Leafs contacted Philadelphia at some point too and just said, "Hey,
it's an idea."
But they're not as small a market as Columbus is, so maybe that's less of an issue for them paying Chris Pronger.
Well, and the other hitch in the giddy up and the little problem that the NHL created is Chris Pronger now
works for the
disciplinarian.
So they could have traded Chris Pronger's rights.
The disciplinarian got traded to the Toronto Maple Leafs.
He would have had to waive his no movement clause, though, I'm sure.
Oh my God, you might be right.
Like I wonder if Nathan Horton did too. Probably had to.
I don't know. Well, and that was a question actually Mrs. Dangle brought up. I thought it was a very astute question. Does he even have to move?
Probably not.
Is he going to come to Toronto? Is he even going to get a jersey?
He's probably not going to report. Well, I guess you'd have to report to get paid, but
I want to say I hope he plays again, but I read It's a, you know what, that I will link to the Sportsnet.ca article about his injury status, at least at the time. That was in November. It's not good. It's not good, guys. Believe me, I wish he played again.
Sure.
It sounds like agony.
When Nathan Horton was playing,
yeah,
Nathan Horton was one of the most effective players in the NHL.
There's not a whole lot of power forwards left in the league, but I think you could call him a power forward.
Right. And, you know, Wood's good for, what, 60 points a year?
A contributor, 50, 60.
50, 60. Well-loved in Boston. A part of those...
Horton here's a woo!
Yeah. And up until recently, a part of the I mean, I guess 2011 is when he left, right after they won the Cup, wasn't it?
Might have been the 2012 year.
So right up on the upswing, and he won a Cup with them, and obviously a part of that, I don't know if you want to call it Bruins dynasty, but this great run that they've had. A good chunk of the reason that they got there in the first place. So, you know, it's a that's your phone, right?
Hello, Siri.
Okay, good. That's I mean, he's a good character guy if he did come back, but I don't think he's going to come back. And as far as I know, as far as the contract working against the salary cap, you have to be up against the cap for that long-term injury reserve to work. Is that not true?
It's all very complicated. I'm not actually sure. All I know is the Leafs will get some kind of cap relief, and basically they can afford to
just pay
him to not play.
Sure.
Whereas Columbus, I believe, can spend up to the cap like the Leafs do, but they can't afford to just pay a guy not to play. With Clarkson, who knows what they're getting? They may get a decent contributor. Mm-hmm. They may get a guy who's not very good at all, but they at least got someone who can be in the lineup. Even if he's a fourth liner for the rest of his career, he'll be contributing more than Nathan Horton was able to do. Right. So it comes down to Columbus making the best of a bad situation and the Leafs making the best of a bad situation. It's a brilliant trade. It's brilliant.
It's great for both sides. What I loved instantly, too, was, of course, members of the media going, "Oh, he's going to be great in Columbus.
Oh,
he
my
is going
goodness.
to be excellent in Columbus."
Just say Jeff O'Neill.
It's Jeff O'Neill.
Just say.
Hi, Jeff.
I was like, oh.
We know who it was. Member. And listen, he might regain his form.
Yeah, maybe.
It might be great to be anonymous. Some guys, some people, that's their personalities lend themselves to that. And, you know, really it's unfortunate because the story was written before David Clarkson got here about how it was going to go. And I think
the Hockey News cover with the blue blood coming out.
Yeah.
Do you remember the tweet from the Maple Leafs Twitter account? It was just David Clarkson dimly lit in a black arena.
He's coming.
He's coming.
Which was supposed to be like a Game of Thrones thing. Like spring is coming.
It reminded me of like Frieza in the Dragon Ball Z saga.
Yeah.
This isn't even my final form. Stupid Saiyan. He was just a monkey.
I watched Dragon Ball Z.
Anybody over 30 did not get that. But
who cares?
Who cares? Who cares?
Shut up.
Look it up. It's a shame that it went down the way that it did.
Yes.
Because it could have been a great story. But is this an example of the spin doctoring kind of getting out of control? We've talked about the spin doctoring with the Maple Leafs. Did they build David Clarkson up to be more than he was? Yes, probably.
Oh, God, yeah.
But then did David Clarkson take it on and go, I have to be better than I've ever been before because I'm making all this money and I come in with all these expectations? And did that set him up for failure?
We screwed it up from day one. He began his tenure as a Toronto Maple Leaf with a 10-game suspension because of an exhibition game when he put on his Superman cape and was like, I'm going to save our superstar from John Scott. It just wasn't it's not a great move, man.
No. It's so funny.
Not a great move.
When we started this show, the Leafs were, I think, 3 or 4 weeks away from signing David Clarkson. That was, we were
a month and a bit.
Yeah, we were about like the third round of the playoffs at that point. So most of this show has been talking about David Clarkson. I mean, we've talked about him at
You're
length.
Absolutely right.
And it's a little bit scary. What are we going to talk about now? What are we going to talk about now? Because here's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at the Leafs salaries.
Okay. All right.
Okay, so you've got, you potentially
on Cap Geek?
Not on Cap Geek, no.
NHL numbers.
Which I love, by the way, Gary Bettman saying that we don't want a Cap Geek type website. Come on.
Well, I took him to task, Adam.
You certainly did. That was a good retweet. There's a whole video on that, though.
Over 4,000.
What I wanted to touch on is when you've got Clarkson off the books, all of a sudden contracts like Stefan Robida don't look so bad.
Yeah, they do.
Well, okay, they do, but
they're manageable.
They're manageable.
Yeah.
That's the...
Well, that's... You know, I look at Phaneuf and I look at Kessel and Robida and, you know, this whole scorched earth thing, and I wonder if this buys them some time, or I wonder if this makes the Leafs feel like, oh, well, maybe we don't need to get rid of Kessel, or maybe we don't need to do this or do that because the cap situation just changed like that. They got $5 million or so that they can spend on not David Clarkson.
Right. Well, and that's, I mean, there's Nazem Kadri's extension right there.
Damn. Didn't even think of it that way. Very good.
Thank you.
Very good.
Thank you.
Didn't even think of it that way. And
maybe a little bit of Bernier's money, too.
Maybe a little bit of Bernier money, because Bernier is making, to the internet,
$2.9 million.
I believe you're right. $2.9 million, and so is Kadri.
Yeah.
Let's pretend they both make 5.
Yeah.
Do math. Yeah, that works.
It does, yeah. So there's
great way of looking at it.
Yeah, so that's great. But we still have a bit of a there's still some issues. There's still issues.
There are issues.
So I want to like, this is great. Let's celebrate this moment because Leaf fans, God, we need it. But looking forward, the work is not done yet.
No.
And they are not, I don't even think they're done going into this deadline. Because I don't think any big moves are going to happen. There's talk about Tyler Bozak, and if that move did happen, great. That's another contract out the window that maybe the team really just doesn't need at this point, right? And it's not that he's not a good hockey player. He is. He's just not the player that they need for that role and that type of money that they're paying.
Well, it's what we talked about on the podcast earlier today.
Yeah.
The podcast A of today. We talked about how Daniel Winnick, 29-year-old, heading into a rebuild, how much do they really need him? Bozak's 28.
Yeah.
He's a year younger than the guy, I think.
And yet they always call him Young Kid Bozak. It's always like he's the young guy. Well, he's not anymore. He started.
Yeah, born March 19th, 1986. Oh, he's got a birthday coming up. Well, how about this for a present? You'll go to a playoff contender.
And the New York Rangers seem to be very, very interested in that.
I'm very, very interested in that.
Absolutely. It's a...
Should I get my Duclair jersey now?
Do you think that's what they get?
Go.
Wow.
No,
are you really going to... What are you doing?
This is right
okay.
there. That's where it's going to go.
Wow.
Duclair.
Wow.
Or should I get Bozak?
That would be funny, especially because he's not a Canadian. But
is he? No, he's from...
Is he?
Sam Squamsquam.
Okay, well then I'm wrong. I thought Bozak was American.
He went to Denver.
That's why I think he's American. Okay, doesn't really matter. Let's move on. I think we got to look at the lineup here, and excuse me, but I'm looking at the lineup. Olli Jokinen's probably gone.
Yeah, exactly.
David Booth, you would think probably could be traded. I mean, why wouldn't you go after a guy like that if you need a depth guy?
I think the Leafs and David Booth would be lucky if they're able to move him. So yeah, you got Booth, Jokinen.
Roman Polak's been mentioned a lot.
He's been mentioned. We'll see. Holzer.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because as soon as you mentioned him, I didn't really hear his name, and then all of a sudden his name starts coming up everywhere. And
anyone who's a UFA.
Yeah, absolutely.
The Leafs will be kings of the 7th round will just be Leafs. This might be the first time we'll see the 7th round of the NHL draft televised. I'd buy the rights to that.
Absolutely.
Why not? Here's the pick that they got for Holzer. Here's the David Booth pick.
Maybe the rights.
Jokinen
Maybe
pick.
the rights are up for sale, and we can buy them and have a 7th round draft party and stream them live from Steve's house.
Bloggers be getting paid.
What do you think?
Oh, wait. Kickstarter, fly us to Florida. That's where the draft
and
is.
We could do a live show, and I'm just saying. I mean, if you here,
stop that camera. Okay,
I'm just saying if you like what you see here, which you probably don't, why wouldn't you sponsor something like that?
It's not true.
I mean, they're used to you. I'm feeling.
I would tank for you, Adam. I can't help it. There's just toys around me. Look around you in my kingdom of toys.
That's terrible.
You're terrible.
It's a terrible idea.
You're terrible.
So let's get into the press conference here because I think there are some questions that need to be answered.
Sure.
The Presser. SDP. The Steve Dangle Press Conference.
Short episode.
Yeah, it is going to be just a half an hour episode. We've already spoken for about 25 minutes.
Or is this just the second half? This is the second half of the podcast.
It's part
That's
B.
what we'll call it. The second half is videoized.
Is there anything else that you want to before we actually get into this press conference? Is there anything else that you think that we need to talk about? Is there any angles here that we haven't hit? I mean,
Kessel had a pair of goals tonight.
yeah. Now that's the thing. Can we just talk about that quickly for a second? Because I heard the wrap up on the way here, and I was like, wait a second.
Yeah.
Okay, so they were outshot 49 to something.
Yeah, it doesn't matter at that
So they
point.
played the Randy Carlisle hockey. I'm assuming,
And they friggin' won a stupid game.
and they won a stupid game. Is there more indication that this team is just not built right than that?
They're voodoo, wizardry, and bullshit.
There you go.
That's what they are. That's what they are, Adam. Pisses me off. Although, hats off to Bernie.
Shout out to the person on Twitter who said, "Are you guys talking about Davey Embarkman?" Perhaps because he embarked.
We're
Davey Clarkman, Davey Embarkman. Come on, that's a round of applause right there.
Sometimes I'm like, I should quit the podcast, and the listeners should just do it because they're more clever.
That was amazing.
That's what I think.
Well done. I'm just looking up. I'm just doing this on the fly. This is not normally how we do this.
Do it.
Oh, we should probably call Jesse too, just at the end here.
I'll do it.
So
Want me to do it now?
Yeah,
or
let's
after
do it.
the
Do it
press
right now.
conference? Okay. Should we make him read the press conference questions?
No. Do you want him to?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
But you gotta. Now we're just guys on our phone.
Let's not do that.
No.
All right.
It. Putting them on speaker. Here we go.
All right. So first question.
Oh, I don't want to hear them from you.
Oh.
I don't want you to say the question.
Really? You really want to bring on Jess? Okay.
Yeah.
We're doing this. I really hope that you're not totally ashamed.
You're this far in.
Yeah, I guess so.
Hi, Jesse. Hello. Hey, Jesse, man. Hugh Jesseman. Hi.
What's up? Why are you calling me so late, Steve?
We're doing the press conference, and Adam wants to read the questions, but I think that's crap. So I need you to do it, okay?
Okay.
So you want to look up on my timeline, Jesse?
Yeah.
Because of course Steve didn't tag you in that. He tagged me because that's initially.
Well, you told
that's
me
how
to.
That's how we were going to do it.
I do what I'm told. I'm a good soldier. Plug away in the corners.
Yeah.
I got my laptop in front of me.
Good. Good producer. Right there.
So, searching the hashtag.
If you don't hurry this up,
Just
you're
search
freaking
my
fired.
timeline, Jesse,
You're
because
so
a lot of people
fired.
didn't use the hashtag,
I'm gonna
bud.
kick your ass. I'm sorry, you're much taller than me.
First question.
Okay.
First question.
Look at how quickly that happened. Okay. That was terrible radio, by the
Color
way.
is the dress.
What color is the dress? It's a black and blue dress,
What
Jesse.
is this? What are you guys talking about?
It's a black and blue. It's a super meme that's going around. Someone posted a picture of a black and blue dress.
Is it this?
Yeah, that. What color is that?
This. Black and blue? How do you get black and blue out of that?
Because it's goddamn black and blue. There's the blue. There's the black.
Where's the black? It's gold and white.
You're both fucked.
What did Jesse say?
Jesse, what do you say?
You hold him up to the mic.
It's white and gold.
It's absolutely
Yeah, of
not.
course it's white. Where do you see black here? Do you see black?
This is the most frustrating meme I've ever
What-
seen.
what-
It caused I might be getting a divorce because of that thing.
Really? What?
Yeah, oh yeah, because
Where is the
because
black?
I say it's black and blue and she's wrong.
Are you? Is it for colorblind people? What are?
No, I think it's supposedly I have better eyes or something like that.
Really?
Something about the cones and I don't know, man. I'm not a scientist.
Oh, he has better eyes.
oh,
Fine.
oh.
Steve has better eyes.
Should
I
be
don't know
called
for sure, but it's probably me.
The Steve Dangle and his wonderful eyes.
Yeah,
podcast.
that must be. All right, what's the next question, Jess?
Ask a better one.
Amon wants to know, now that Davey Clarkman's gone, does it mean we stop Mimico naming people?
Hell no, we don't stop Mimico naming people.
Hell no, no.
Needy Hortman, savior of the Leafs because of Brandy Shanman.
It's true.
Needy Hortman.
No, you know what? Davey Clarkman started a good thing here, and we will continue it. And I feel like we need.
That wasn't Mimico. That was Dublin.
Yeah, that's true. we need to start. We need to find a way to thank him. I don't know what that would be.
Clarkson?
Yeah, for giving us Davey Clarkman and giving us the Mimico names.
You know
Because
what?
it really has been the longest running joke I think I've ever been a part of.
I don't like ripping on the guy too hard. 'Cause we kind of talked about his failure is only his failure to an extent, and then after that it's the Leafs.
Yeah.
And I don't like
Like-
ripping on him as a person.
Not his fault that he could sign an amazing contract like that.
No, I'd take it. Jeff Finger too. But I can't help but wonder, what is that video tribute going to look like on the Jumbotron at the ACC? I will remember you. Have Darcy Tucker on hand. Have him score a power play goal. On
That
the
will
ensuing
be
power play.
awkward. I wonder if Columbus comes to town.
I feel like the Leafs have played Columbus.
That'll
We
be
have the technology.
Jesse?
Yeah, Jesse.
Since you're on the phone, can you
You're the
look that up?
best.
Steve's got the entire schedule.
Do.
We're looking at it. I'm not seeing it.
I'm not seeing it. I don't think so. Everyone
What
watching
about
this
April?
already knows, and they're yelling and screaming, and no one cares.
Toronto at Columbus, second last game of the year.
Oh, but it's at Columbus,
That's
though.
too bad. That
so
could've been great.
no video tribute. Whatever.
Oh
my God! I just hung up on
And
Jeff.
so he just hung up on Jesse. Call him back. Call him back so we can finish this puppy up.
No,
No?
no, you're right. You're right. Don't you dare ask me a question. I'm not going to answer it.
Okay, all right. I was going to. No. All right. I had a good one.
Did you?
Yeah.
Are they ever good?
No, they're always good.
You're right. 12%. Sure. Now the battery holds up. Hi.
We're back. We need a.
Why'd you hang up?
Hey,
Ask the next damn
What's-
question.
GC wants to know, what do you do with the extra $5 million cash?
Well, we talked about it a little bit earlier in the show, Jesse, had you been listening.
Dick.
But I think this money's got to go to Nazem Kadri. I think this is Nazem Kadri.
And maybe burn you.
And maybe a little bit to burn you. I hope that the whole 5.25 doesn't. I feel like 5.25 maybe right now is a lot for Kadri, considering what they locked up Jake Gardner for. But if you look at his advanced stats, they're pretty incredible.
Well, no, though. It's you got to remember, he's already making 2.9.
Yeah.
So it's not 5.25 million new dollars.
No.
You're let's pretend he makes 5. You're tacking on to the 2.9.
You're right. You're right.
I am always.
That's a very good point.
So
yeah.
that's why I'm saying you could use that money to pay Kadri and Bernier.
Yeah.
I think.
Okay.
For this foreseeable future. That's
For
not
sure.
bad, man.
Jesse, one more question.
Who do you think made this deal from Chris? Nonis or Shanahan?
I think it's hard to really kind of nail that down. I don't know of any pre-existing relationship between Shanahan and anybody in upper management at Columbus,
Kekalainen.
but I would imagine that David Nonis made this deal. And the reason that I believe David Nonis made this deal is because David Nonis has made most of
Who's David?
Davey Noneman has made most of the complicated trades with the Leafs in the last 5 years, supposedly.
Supposedly.
Those are the rumors we've heard.
This is, well, Nonis has been like a lame duck, it seems, for a long time. And this is enough, there are enough dollars in this deal that I think it's possible, at least Shanahan, maybe ownership, and definitely Blue Jackets ownership were involved.
Well, they had to. You can't make a deal like that, especially, agreeing to sit a player till the 2018-2019 season with that much money on the books without management approval, without ownership
the
approval.
The whole reason Columbus made that deal is because they can't afford to have a guy not play. They can afford a guy being bad. They can definitely afford a guy being decent for that amount of money, but they can't afford to have a guy not play. The Leafs can afford that, right? So, and the whole reason for that is ownership. They have those magic numbers.
If this deal was Nonis, and I want you to jump on this one. To me, this saves Nonis' job.
Okay. So what I'm going to do...
If Nonis has made all these deals in the last week and then this one.
Okay. So I'm going to go outside.
Okay.
Where you're parked.
Yeah.
And I'm going to kick in your windshield.
Please don't do that.
And a year and a half later, I'm going to fix it. And that'll save our friendship. That's all it takes.
But we've talked about this before. Counterpoint.
Me kicking in your car?
Not you kicking in the car. Please don't make that a habit. I think though
promises.
that you've said this before. There's a
smell.
There's a smell. It's my feet. I'm losing my point here because I've been up for a long, long time right now.
You get to see what me interrupting Adam looks like in person.
What I wanted to say with Dave Notice is that, listen, he found a way out of this mistake, right? People make mistakes, but he found a way out of it. And I think that's cool that he was able to rectify it. And he's the guy, here's my point, that when you have a direction for him, he goes in that direction. You point him in that direction and he goes there, right?
We have made that point in the past. He's a good soldier.
So maybe as a good soldier type guy, Shanahan has said, here's your directive. Figure all these things out. Get a first rounder for Cody Franzen. They found their first rounder for Cody Franzen. That's why the deal happened early, because Nashville stepped up and said, we'll give you the first rounder. And they said, okay, cool, let's take it.
I'm pretty happy with everything they've gotten so far.
Absolutely. So if Dave Nonis can make these types of deals, and Dave Nonis is patient, why do you get rid of him? I mean, if he's been the one doing these deals, and I don't think it was Dubas or Mark Hunter.
Well, let's pretend he's not the guy who did it. He's still the figurehead, right?
Sure.
Again, what
he's
we
overseeing.
Were saying, he's the dartboard. I don't even think he's overseeing at this point. I mean, can you be an overseer if there's someone overseeing you as well?
Everybody has a boss. Somebody's overseeing Brendan Shanahan.
I'm a junior overseer.
Okay.
Brendan Shanahan is the senior overseer. Again, he's still, when things go south, he's a dartboard. And he's just another layer of he's another layer the Leafs can rely on. Like, let's pretend things go real hairy after this, and people start calling for this guy to be fired. This guy's like, you know how like Carlisle, it was kind of written on the wall.
Yeah.
But then it was who's next? Nonis. Now everyone's kind of gone off that for a bit, but once they get back on that, the Leafs can then fire Nonis, and Dubas and Shanahan and the like are still unscathed.
Yeah, but then they got to
mean?
have somebody who's going to be the figurehead. Who's that going to be?
Might be Mark Hunter by then.
Interesting.
I
just feel like with Dave Nonis and all these pre-existing relations. Oh shit. I just feel like with Dave Nonis and all these pre-existing relationships, it makes sense. It makes sense that they hang on to him. Just a thought.
It's a very expensive phone.
Okay. Well, with that, Jesse, thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, no, he's still there.
He's still there.
Thanks, Jesse.
And we'll talk to you right after the trade deadline next.
Didn't even give me a chance to hang up on him.
Yeah, he was done with us, I think.
Dick.
Yeah. I don't.
So
it's almost midnight.
We ended. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. The last podcast we said we'll see you at the trade deadline.
This one we're hoping that we'll see you at the trade deadline.
We can't end it that way.
Oh,
we gotta just.
You have a.
Yeah.
Follow the guys on Twitter at Steve_Dangle, at Adam WYLDE. The Steve Dangle Podcast. Brought to you by Panago Pizza. Order at panago.com and stuff your face with deliciousness.